Hello, my name is Jeremy Helgevold. This is my GPE104 Project 4 submission video. All the sounds from my project were obtained at freesound.org, and all the visuals were used for my previous project, and they were obtained at opengameart.org. Okay, onto the rubric. The first item is player moves left and right. Okay, so if I play my game, I go in, you can see my character move left and right. Player affected by gravity. Okay. If I go in, play, my player can jump and is affected by gravity. He falls. So in the player pawn, they have a rigid body. They are affected by gravity, and they have a non-trigger collider. So the physics system is in complete control of them. Next item: detective player is grounded. Okay, so for this one, I have on all of my player characters, I have a very small trigger at the bottom parented to it, and its layer is player. And in the code, I have a ground detector script that just checks if it's the ground layer that it's just entered, only on enter, and sets in is grounded bool to true in the player pawn. And that determines if they're allowed to jump and other stuff. Alright, next item is player can only jump a designer set number of times. Okay, so in my game manager in the gameplay scene, I have max jumps currently set to 4. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. I can change this to 2, and then I can go 1, 2, and it won't go any higher. Okay, animation blending for idle walk jump. Okay, so for this, I have, for both characters, male and female, I have the finite state machine animation. It blends between walking, flipping, the jumping animation, and just standing still. And it blends, or transitions between them based off booleans that are set, which is just moving or jumping. All right, next item. Sounds on player death, player hit. Okay, so my sounds are all here. When I collect this collection, I get a sound. If I hit this person, I get a sound. And if I go die, or I gotta run out of there's a different sound for when I lose. Okay. Music, yeah. So you can hear the music playing throughout the whole game. Next item, multiple scenes. So my project is broken up into a main menu scene, which you see right here, and the gameplay scene, which when you hit play, it loads into the gameplay scene, which has all of the assets and level design. Alright, next item. Start screen, victory screen, fail screen. Okay, so So this is my start screen, which is my main menu where you can hit play, select female, male, or quit. When you hit play, my losing menu, my game over screen, return to main menu or quit. If I play again, I go in here and cheat, and grab my spawn, and move him way over here. Oops. Let me try that one more time. Grab my player. Grab that on my way. Place him right here. And go into the exit. There's my win sound as well as my win menu item. Alright, next item is checkpoints. Okay, I have checkpoints. In the scene, you can see them. Oh, I'll open the gameplay scene. They are these little flags. If you run into them, they change color, and if you die, you'll be ported back to them. So there's one there, and there's one here. So I can demonstrate that real quick, if I can get to them. there's that. It turns blue to indicate you've gotten it. Let me get a collectible so I can... Okay. So if I hit her, it will place me back at the spawn point, or the checkpoint, instead of back at the spawn. Alright, the next item is bug or error free. Well, the way I show that usually is a empty console, so when I play the game, as you can see so far, we've been moving around, jumping over enemies, getting hit, jumping up on things, and pretty much doing everything the game can do at this point without anything popping up in the error log on the console. And you can get over to the win condition. And no errors. Return to main menu, switch gender. Everything works as it should. Alright. Next item is comments. Okay, so all my code, all of this C# files are commented completely. What each item does, what each function does, what each if branch does, especially in my FSMs, it's commented heavily. My AI FSM commented heavily. So yeah. And project organization. Alright, so my project, this one's kind of full. My main menu is pretty much just camera, the menu UI, a UI settings thing, which is just pretty much transfers the gender selection into the gameplay scene, and then the event for the UI, the background images, and the music. That is the music that plays between scenes. And then my gameplay scene itself has the game manager with the player spawn and other items to control where the camera will and won't go. The main camera itself, the player controller, the event system for the UI, the gameplay UI, which is just a simple counter that shows you how much loot you have. Out of bounds, which is this item down here. So if you fall into this, like if you fall off the edge, you'll get ported back to the last checkpoint and lose a piece of loot. This is the game win item, which is just this graphic, the background, and the collider. And then all my terrain objects are in here. All my background objects, which is just the leaves, the trees, are in there. All the collectibles, things that I can run into or trigger, are in there. All the enemies are in there, and the menu UI, the win and game over UI are in there. As far as the project non-scene organization, it's pretty much the same. Animations for all the different characters, including the enemies. Art, split up into background, characters, collectibles, obstacles, and UI. Audio just has my audio files. Prefabs have any prefabs I need to build the level with characters, collectibles, and then terrain objects. Scenes, just the two scenes, and scripts, just those scripts. Last thing is game exceeds minimum requirements. So I did this in a few places. I actually just hit on it. The camera, the game manager has a left-bound and right-bound camera, so that the camera will never go too far left. It'll still follow the player, but oops. It'll still follow the player, but it won't just go out into nowhere. So like right here, it won't go too far left, but obviously as I start moving to the right, it will begin to follow as I move. And it also will not go too far down either if I fall off. So it's a little extra, just keeping the player in the game world instead of anywhere in the scene. Another item I also did was to incorporate a scoring system that's different than that impacts if you win or lose. There's loot scattered around, but the idea is you have to pick some of it up and exit with it. However, every time you fall off or get hit by an enemy, you lose a piece. So it's possible to get to the end with 0 loot and exit, and it'll be a lose condition. So I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah. So yeah, those are the big main ways that I went a little bit beyond the requirements. So that's the end of this video. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.